What's up, champ? Today I want to talk about why women are like pigs. And I'm going to give you a real world example so you can understand it. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. What I'm going to illustrate is going to be an analogy why women are like pigs. Now, let's talk about pigs. They're usually white, they're very soft, they're very cute, they're smart, etc. Right? And as long as they're in the farm, as long as in their safety of a protector, a provider, then they are in that state of mind. However, if the pig escapes that farm and leaves into the real world, then that pig becomes a hog. And many things will happen. The color of the pig will go from white to usually black or gray, depending on its surroundings. They'll start growing some tussles or way for it to defend itself. It becomes more aggressive. And this is how women are. This is why I say they're like pigs. Not to be disrespectful, but you can see the change. When they're with the provider, they're soft, they're feminine. And when they leave that situation and go to the real world, what happens is they become like hogs. They have to adapt, they have to change. And that causes them to become masculine. And this causes significant problems in the society down the line because I'm not going to get into that right now, but this is what I'm talking about why women are like pigs, because women can possess both masculinity and feminine energy. If they're being provided for, if they're being led, if they're being taken care of, they're going to be feminine. If those things are not present, even if they have a man, they'll take the masculine role and eventually out the man and just go by themselves, and then they become even more masculine, and it's going to be hard for them to find someone because they're already masculine. It's kind of like a hog cannot ever go back to becoming that cute white pig anymore because it has transformed. Okay, same thing with the woman. Now the woman may not have transformed in the pigment of their skin or created, devices to defend itself, but mentally in their mind they become more defensive, they become more combative, and you can see that even in women that are not gone through divorces in America. For example, successful women, attorneys, doctors, because for them to climb that corporate ladder, they have to become alpha, and it changes them. And that's why it's hard for them to have kids, which basically goes down to another idea, which is leading into the collapse of the empire. Now, for example, a lot of women say, Mike, well, this is not a good analogy. You're just dissing on women. No, this is a great analogy where you can see one human, one species, a pig, can be two different things depending on the conditioning, and it can happen fairly pretty quick, and it can't go back, right? And this is why a lot of women say they make a mistake by leaving their husbands and getting a divorce, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. And they come and realize, after a few years, that, oh shit, whoever you can get, it's not going to be a provider, it's not going to be a protector, and they're going to be cat women or dog women. They're going to be empty nesters pretty much all their lives, and their beauty was in their youth, and and the problem that causes, because that causes a lot of men to go see other men going through divorces, talking shit, and now men don't want to have kids, women don't want to have kids, and that causes a break in the empire, because without kids you can't have soldiers. So the point I'm trying to make is that society programming, even though it causes massive profits, is damaging the nuclear family, and is causing women to become men, and the men have to become women because they have to be yes, yes, yes to the women to get what they want, sex or companionship. because they have to become beta men. And at the end of the day, the women are not going to be happy with them because biologically they want to be female. So it's just a twisted thing, plus the non-reproduction that comes from single parents, kids that don't want to have, get married because they saw how much painful it is to come up as in a single family. Okay, because the men they come in a single family, they will become feminine. You know what I mean? Because the male is not there. And they will overact of that femininity into so-called masculinity, big trucks, talking very loud, and kind of like a peacock, right? A bunch of feathers, but not enough muscle, right? So it damages both sides, kids, this girl or a guy, and it's definitely fucking up the reproduction rate, and that's why you're saying people don't want to get married, they don't want to have kids, because they come up in those broken families and they know what the pain is and they don't want to go through that. And it's mostly led by women because they're the pigs. They leave the situation where they're comfortable, they're smart, they're all that good things, and they now become hogs. And once they become hogs, most alpha male are not going to want to accept that because they know they can't change, and all they can get is beta males, and they're not going to be happy with the beta males. So it's a cycle. Okay, someone will just go through these men, someone won't fuck with them, and whatever there is, situation may be in anything between. But the problem is that there's less kids being born, and then the kids that are born, they're only getting one energy, which is maybe mostly of the mom, not of the dad. And it doesn't matter if they're kid, male or female, they're getting corrupted because they need both of the energies versus just one, and it's causing the male to grow up and become betas, and the women to grow up and become alpha. Plus the programming of let me become a corporate woman, let me become a lawyer, let me become a doctor, let me put all my energy when I'm 37 years old working to become top, and then I realize, oh shit, I don't have someone to share this with, or someone that really gives a shit about me, or always thinking about that kind of stuff. So this is why I say women are like pigs, because they can transform in one way or another. Anyways, guys, love to hear your thoughts below. Peace.